And, Joe, I feel like all season long we've been talking about it's a bit wide open, and we're waiting for somebody to step forward and identify themselves and say, we're the one. How emphatic a statement did Seattle make tonight that they are indeed what they will have earned by virtue of the win?
Yeah, I think it was pretty emphatic to come on the road here. Short week. They were in Carolina last week, and they don't seem to be bothered at all. Mike Macdonald is a tremendous young head coach in this league. He's a tremendous head coach in year number 2. They've gone from 10 wins to 14, and they're riding this defense. But the offense is good, and the offensive line was good tonight. And the ground game, they got 2 guys.
They didn't put Darnold in harm's way a great deal. Made some throws, certainly. The run game worked well. But this defense that they can lean into, it's the time of year when defenses can carry you a long way. I know you guys had a bunch of parades in Dallas, and you and the offense were rolling. But might this Seattle defense be the differentiator that could be a title-winning team for them?
Well, if they play like they did tonight, yeah, they're going to be in every ball game. I mean, that group, there's no weakness on that defense. And, Joe talked about Mike Macdonald being a great head coach and obviously a great defensive coordinator as well. That's how he got the job with the Seattle Seahawks. But you pair that with some really good players, they are hard to move the football against, as we witnessed tonight. This was a San Francisco offense that had been doing a lot of good things. But, speaking of Sam Darnold, I'm really proud of how he was able to play. And the key for him, of course, was that they were able to run the football as well as what they were. When you've got a defense the way that they played, then you can lean on that as well. But I would hate for that to diminish what Sam Darnold meant to this team tonight, because you still got to do it. You got to do it on third downs. And there was a lot of pressure on him coming into this game. I know that feeling. I know the expectations that get put on a quarterback, and he answered the bell. So next week it'll be the same thing. The narrative doesn't change until you win it all. So he understands that. All quarterbacks do. But this was a great win on the road to secure the number 1 seed.
In our last couple of minutes before we say goodbye to our audience on ABC, the difference between the bye and being, as I said, bloodied and battered, Purdy really takes a shot at the end. Now San Francisco is going to have to go on the road. The path looks a whole lot different, Joe and Troy, than it might have otherwise. I feel like that the hill gets very steep to climb for them, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's why Kyle Shanahan told us that this game, in his mind, was more important than the next. And the next game's a playoff game.
Wow.
That's how much importance he put on tonight's game. It's a 2-for-1, however you want to look at it. But they are really banged up. I mean, they don't have their starting left tackle. They don't have Pearsall. They don't have pieces on their defense in Warner and Bosa. Ayuk never ended up showing up. So, I mean, it's just on and on and on. And at some point you wonder, how much more can a team take? They have it cut out for them. Their work is cut out for them. They're going to have to go on the road and play either that NFC South winner, whoever that is, or against Chicago or Philly. It is not going to be easy for Kyle Shanahan's team.
Scott, this hill was steep for whoever lost this game, as we talked about. It was especially steep now for San Francisco. I mean, as Joe said, they are so beat up. I don't know how they come off of a loss like this emotionally, physically, and come back in a week and try to play their best football. It's going to be a real challenge for them.
Right, it's why the stakes were as high as they were and why Seattle's emphatic statement earns them this very important bye. San Francisco, we'll find out where they go tomorrow. We'll find out where we go as well, and we look forward to seeing you guys wherever that might be next Monday. Be well.
See you, Scott.
See you, Scott.
Look forward to it. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, best booth in the game. When we continue. Good evening. Welcome to Sports Center. Scott Van Pelt, Hudson Street Studio here in New York City. This place is bananas, by the way. There's like upper deck seating. I mean, there's no one here because it's our dumbass show, but we've got Ryan Clark here, Stanford Steve's in the building. We will dive into the Seattle victory at San Francisco. On Countdown, I picked Seattle. I thought they'd win this football game, largely for the reasons that they did. Their defense is dominant, but for them to really constrict that San Francisco offense that had been rolling coming into this game was pretty jarring, pretty eye-opening. They say rather emphatically, we are the 1 seed in the NFC. The Super Bowl 60 will be here in about a month. The rivalry unis for San Francisco, kind of mixed reaction to that. When you got the legendary kit that they've got, maybe you go with that. Maybe a handoff to Zach Charbonnet for first and goal from the 1. Seattle didn't do that on their first drive, but they give it to him here from the 20. And a touchdown gives Seattle a lead. His 12th rushing touchdown of the season, the most since Marshawn Lynch.
Take care of y'all chicken.
In 2014. It's 7-0. Jackson Smith and Jigba, whose tremendous season continues. Here, the grab on a first down throw. They get a field goal. It's 10-0. San Francisco has done nothing to this point in the first half. Here, Brock Purdy tries to take off, but gets taken down. They settle for a field goal. First time since week 4 they didn't score an offensive touchdown in the first half. Third quarter. This is an amazing stat. There have been 4 fourth down runs or third down and 15 or longer runs this year in the NFL. I know I kind of screwed that up, but Seattle has all of them.
However many it is, they all
They have
Seattle.
all of them. You see John Lynch, who cannot believe that it's just a toss right to Kenneth Walker that gets 19 on a 3rd and 17. This is a third down throw, and that is prohibited by the rules of the game. Rashid Shaheed is restricted by Renardo Green. That is a flag. Seahawks held to 3. Give San Francisco's defense credit. They have not been great, but they managed to hold this team at least in the game because they held Seattle to just 13. There's a big toss to George Kittle, who was going to play no matter what this game. Now they've got to have a touchdown.
Play of the game.
This is the play of the game. It's slightly tipped, which means it's slightly behind Christian McCaffrey, but RC, the Drake Thomas play is amazing.
Drake Thomas with a quick reaction here. They know they say tips and overthrows, you got to get those. This finish totally changed the trajectory of the game.
Now 13-3. Late, Brock Purdy had hit his thumb on a helmet, so he's bleeding, and he gets absolutely obliterated on a 4th down throw. Was slow to get up, and just think how drastically different this entire trajectory of their season is as a result of the result here.
Yeah.
They lose on their home field, which means they do not have home field throughout. Seattle wins by 10. Zach Charbonnet standing by to join me now. Hey, Zach, Scott Van Pelt, this is Sports Center. You're live. Welcome. Thanks for throwing on the headset. You just heard me describing the game that you played a huge role in. I was joking that you didn't get it on first and goal from the 1, but that toss from the 20, you took the lead, and your running game really provided a lot. How much did you and Kenneth and your O-line feel like you could help take some of the load off of Sam?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we've definitely been working on the second half of the season, and I think we've just done a great job. Receivers, tight ends, O-line, everyone up front, and then running backs just doing our jobs too. So it's definitely nice to be able to play complementary football.
I think you guys understand the world we live in, right? It's much of what we do in media is viewed through the lens of quarterbacks, and we all know Sam played for a different team last year and was on the road week 18. It didn't go well. I'm interested in the group's sort of understanding of what Sam might have been dealing with and whether that was even articulated at all.
What he's been dealing with?
Well, just the whole idea of, hey, it's week 18, you're on the road, the 1 seed last year didn't go. Yeah, I mean, the narratives that surround quarterbacks and really nobody else. I mean, I get that it's a team game. Maybe it wasn't discussed at all.
Oh, no, I mean, we don't look at any narratives based on anyone on this team. We love Sam. He's doing a great job for us, so he's going to continue to lead us, and we're going to continue to follow his lead.
Yeah, and he did an excellent job tonight. The offense did all it needed to, although Sam mentioned on the broadcast he felt like you guys could do more in the red zone. Fine, but 13 was more than enough because, Zach, your defense is just outrageous. How do you describe what that group provides this team?
Yeah, the defense has been amazing, top to bottom, so definitely have a lot of respect for those guys. You know, when we need them in the time of need, they always show up. So it's great to just be able to rely on those guys on the other side of the ball.
A couple of years ago on Monday Night Countdown, we had the good fortune to come up to Seattle and see the 12s in real time. It was a game you guys won late on a touchdown pass. I believe it was Jackson Smith and Jigba. And I saw it with my own eyes, and I'm like, wow, I get it. This place is real. You guys get to go home there after you take your foot off the gas and rest next week. What do you imagine your place will be like as you set out on a path to try to get right back to where you are right now for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, we already know it's going to be electric, so can't wait to see all the 12s when we get back home, and, you know, we're just getting started.
Last quick thought. The best part of the bye week, I mean, what is it? The rest and the recovery, I mean, what do you guys do in that week that you don't have to play that everyone else does that makes the playoffs?
Yeah, definitely rest, but, we're still going to continue to attack the fundamentals. It's not really a week off. We're still going to continue to prepare for next week and do everything we can to be in the best position come next week or 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, right, exactly. 2 weeks from now, not next week. You get to enjoy the time off. Congratulations, Zach. You've been a huge part of this surge in the second half. A big game tonight. Thank you for your time, and good luck in the playoffs.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, Zach Charbonnet and Seattle are the 1 seed for the 4th time in team history. All of those have come over the last 2 decades. Each of the previous times that they've won the NFC title, they came away with Lombardi in Super Bowl in, Super Bowl 48? That was right down here.
Yep.
That was right down here in New York City. Ryan Clark is alongside. You got a touchscreen for me?
I got a touchscreen, and I think it's fitting that we spoke to Zach Charbonnet because so much about this game was Sam Darnold and the narratives that at least we heard about him.
And I appreciate what he's saying.
It was awesome. It wasn't about what was going on in the building. Those weren't the conversation. That team was just trying to win. But we knew exactly what it was. And we talked so much pregame, though, about what this defense could do and what Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet had done the last 2 weeks of the season. And so what I want to show is what those 2 players were able to do to not only help Seattle score points, but also take some of the onus off of Sam Darnold. Now, what you're going to see along with the motion is Green is going to be in man-to-man, so he's going to follow Cooper Kupp to the top of the screen. Now, look at this set. In this set, the 2 most important people to the defense are going to be Brown here on the bottom of your screen because he's supposed to set the edge, and then Bethune, who is going to match what Charbonnet is going to do from the backfield. But as you watch it, as Charbonnet goes front side here, Bethune is going to flow too far over and allow the cutback. Now watch as he gets to this point. Look at the vision by Zach Charbonnet. What he knows is I can come out of the back door here and run right off of the block of Varner, which is going to switch and allow Zach Charbonnet to get to the outside. He gets to the outside here. Watch the hesitation and then the acceleration on Malik Mustafa to get it to the end zone. To me, this is the play of the second half. You see already Cooper Kupp's engaged, which is going to allow Kenneth Walker III to get to the outside. They're going to block here and then get to the second man, and then we're going to see Jackson Smith and Jigba take over on this block, and there's going to be the center who is going to leak out of the backfield to get a lead block, which ends up being the last block that springs Kenneth Walker III to get this first down. You see all the blocks downfield, the physicality of the run, and this was the play that could have had the Seattle Seahawks backed up. They were able to drive the football down the field and put another 3 points on the board, which really were just lanyap, which in Louisiana, that means a little bit extra for what they needed to get the win.
A little bit. You salt them a little bit. That's how they say it here in New York. At least they did in Goodfellas. You could show us offensive plays, and those lend themselves well to touchscreens. The story of this football game is the Seattle defense. We talked a bunch about them on Countdown, and Swag made some points, and you made some points. But man, I asked Troy, I'm going to ask you, is this a defense that can win Seattle the Super Bowl almost on its own?
Listen, absolutely. And this is very similar to what this team was in their championship heyday with Marshawn Lynch and the LOB on the defensive side of the ball. It's done a little differently now. It's about the front end and the pressure they're able to create. But on the second and third level, this team runs and hits better than any team in football. We talked in the green room. There was a play where Brock Purdy got out of the backfield and looked like he was going to scramble for a first down, and Ernest Jones shuts it down right there in the open field. This team doesn't miss tackles. They swarm to the ball, and they make every single yard hard to gain.
Yeah, we looked at each other and just said they're just so efficient in tackling. You rarely have a yard after contact with them. And look, you referenced Legion of Boom, man. It's not sacrilegious, but you really better be sure you're talking about a special unit. But you referenced them, and I think with good reason.
But you really are. Also, look at some of the pieces that John Schneider, the general manager, has gone out to draft.
Similar.
You get Devin Witherspoon early in the draft at number 5. This year, you get a complete steal in the second round
Couldn't believe
with Nick Emenwari. And I think that's a Mike McDonald pick. Think about what he was able to do with Kyle Hamilton near the line of scrimmage in Baltimore. Now you get another long-rangey safety, make him your nickel, and you can utilize him in so many different ways. How many times did we see that young man pop off of the screen tonight?
Well, we also laughed in the green room about tape and about the combine. And like, put on the tape.
Yeah.
Put on the tape. The tape's not going to be kind for Kyle Shanahan when he looks at it, and it's also going to mean it's going to be a short week because they're going to be playing next week. Here's his thoughts after coming up short tonight.
Oh, we're ready for it. I mean, yeah, it would have been nice to have to have a home game here, or both home games, and get a bye. But it is what it is. I mean, this team's been through a lot this year. Now we got to do it the hard way, and we'll embrace shit out doing it the hard way and look forward to it.
Could you try to get guys to get beat after this one, or do you want, you understand the kind of disappointment? Like, what was the mood of that?
Oh, disappointed. Those guys, I mean, regardless of how well we did, I mean, our guys really fought out there. Our guys were exhausted after the game, like we are after every game. I told them to enjoy tomorrow. We don't know whether we're going to play Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. We don't know who we're going to play until after the afternoon game. But when they come in here Monday, come in ready to go, wherever we got to go. And hopefully we can earn it a chance to see that team again.
Significantly more difficult road because you add by 25% the load of you got to win 4 rather than 3. But we're not in the business of selling sunshine here. But I made a point in the highlight about San Francisco's defense that I believe you want to echo.
Yeah, you look at this defense, you feel so much better about them today than you did yesterday. In watching the way they were able to stand up in the red zone, turning the football over on downs, forcing field goals, and some of the physicality that this team played with, we hadn't seen that in the last 2 weeks. And so now you do think about going on the road and having a defense that can at least create enough stops to keep you in the game. And when he said, we hope we earn an opportunity to play this team again, because he knows that his side of the football fell short, and he won't believe that a Kyle Shanahan's offense won't produce the next time if the defense plays this well.
And you'd have to believe if you saw them again, you'd have Trent Williams, who you did not have tonight, and that's a gigantic piece of it. But I do wonder, whoever they play next won't be as good defensively as Seattle, but you know that they still are out there somewhere.
Yeah.
But you heard Kyle said they want to find them somewhere.
It might be at home. I'm sure there'll be a group text sent out for a little watch party, but yeah, we'll see.
It'll be agonizing for you to root for the Saints.
Yeah, so, I mean, a tie still gets us in, so they could still tie.
Will you reach out to anybody on the Saints? Do you know anyone that you have that kind of relationship with that you text, maybe say something?
I might try and call the hotel for the Falcons. I don't know where they're staying, but...
The old prank call routine, get the fire alarms going. So with Tampa's victory, the NFC South winner will be 8-9, the 5th division winner with a losing record since the merger. Buccaneers most recent to do it. They're quarterbacked by Tom Brady. That was his final season. Carolina can still get in if Atlanta beats New Orleans on Sunday. Here's what Bryce Young had to say about the position the Panthers find themselves in.
I might not even watch, to be honest with you. I might just see how it ends up. It's on us for that being our reality. We had opportunity to take it. Now we have to leave it in someone else's hands. So we take ownership in that.
You're not going to watch?
Yeah, I wouldn't watch. To be honest, I definitely wouldn't go to a watch party. And you'd be surprised at how many guys actually don't watch football or watch other teams play outside of studying. I think what you saw in both of those quarterbacks, and I could be reading this wrong, you let me know, was disappointment. There was disappointment for Baker Mayfield that we were 6-2 at one point and had this division in the palm of our hands and allowed that to slip away late in this season. Yep. If you're Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers, you're upset because you had opportunities to put this division away before you were in this position. And now both of these teams are waiting on the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints, who, based on the way that they're playing right now, are playing better than both of these two teams to decide who the NFC South champion is. This is the most NFC South thing that's happened this year.
I'm smiling because earlier today I said all due respect, which when you say all due respect or no offense,
you finna disrespect and offend.
With all due respect, is either of these teams a threat to beat anyone in the playoffs next week?
Absolutely not. And, you say they're a threat because they're all professionals. You say that they're a threat because we have seen the Carolina Panthers beat both the Rams and the Green Bay Packers. But these teams aren't playing at a playoff level. These teams aren't on the elite tier of the NFC teams. And if I'm San Francisco, if I'm the Los Angeles Rams, I'm praying for the 5 seed because that means I don't have to go to Philadelphia
right.
and I go to either Carolina or Tampa Bay.
A lot of what we talked about on Countdown was about Bryce Young.
Yeah.
And the decision that organization has to make. They drafted the young man number 1. We know he got benched last year.
Yeah.
The highs and lows this year, the gap between them has been massive. But in the rain, on the road, in a gotta-have-it game, what did he show you?
First of all, he showed me that the moment's not too big. That being the number 1 quarterback coming out of high school, winning a national championship and winning a Heisman Trophy at Alabama, that's who this young man is. In the biggest moments tonight, Bryce Young shined the brightest. In the biggest moments, they could count on him to deliver plays that you need your franchise quarterback to deliver. And it's almost, at least in my opinion, it's sad if he doesn't get to play in the next round. Because if I'm David Tepper, if I'm Dave Canales, I want to see him in a moment as an underdog with an opportunity to win the game, to see can he duplicate this outing, because we know this team has been up and down as a team. 1 week good, the next week bad, but so has Bryce Young. Can you show us some consistency in pressurized situations?
And if it were to be the Rams, that's a team that on that field,
Yes,
they beat, along with beating the Packers as well. So they've shown that they can do it. It's just on this particular day, not as good, frankly.
And you feel some sort of way as well, Scott, losing a game where your defense holds the opposing team to 16 points.
Right. On a rainy day.
It's huge to be able to play in front of the 12s. It's unlike any other stadium that I've ever played in terms of, how loud it can be and how tough it can be for another offense to operate. So, we're really looking forward to playing at home for the playoffs.
One at a time. Keep stacking them. It's just like, look, this is what we've been saying for a while now, is if we want to go where we want to go, and we're a young team with an idiot head coach, second year, trying to figure it out, like that's our mentality. It's just like, we're just going to keep attacking day by day, one thing at a time, and worry about that, let everybody else come up with all the stories and stuff, try to give you some good info, but we're not really worried about all that stuff.
Appreciate being self-deprecating, but he was the architect of a hell of a defense in Baltimore, and man, they are a load to deal with in the NFC. As for the AFC, stakes look like this. Broncos win against the Chargers, who are resting starters, and they're the 1 seed. South Division will go to Jacksonville if they were to beat Tennessee. It's winner take all. Sunday night, our friends at NBC will have that one. As Baltimore and Pittsburgh, such great rivals, such tenured coaches, so much that is baked into that one, and that will determine who is in and who goes home. San Francisco wasn't eliminated tonight, but their road's a whole lot more difficult. Their thoughts after coming up short.
We lost at home to a division rival for the division and the 1 seed. That sucks. That just is what it is. And yes, I'm disappointed about it. It's horrible. Good news is I get to play football next week. Whether it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whenever it is, I get to play football again. And it's going to be on the road in a hostile environment. Would I much rather be on a bye and get to play at Levi Stadium? Yeah, but that's just not our reality. So, I fully expect our team to come in, attack it, and we have a whole new season ahead of us. It is what it is. So we just got to go to work. We have a week. Hopefully we get Trent back. That's super helpful. He's a really good football player. Maybe Ricky. So, that's horrible. I hate that. I hate losing. I hate losing to the Seahawks. But, hey, we get to play football next week, and whoever it is, whenever what happens, go Cardinals.
Our team has been through so much. Adversity, guys going down, next guy up. People have counted us out, and that's fine. And, they can say what they want. But for us to go on the road and find a way to win, we've done it before, and that's going to be our goal. So, we got to take it one day at a time, get better from this film, heal up. And
which means potentially they make it to the playoffs. A bit of history. Levante David got to break down the celebratory locker room on a day he ties Derek Brooks as the Buccaneers' career tackles leader at 1,714. That's great, but they're going to be playing more football. After the victory, pleasure to welcome Levante David to the show. Tampa Bay has a win. Now you got to wait. I'd say you'd seen it all in Tampa Bay, but that would take you back to the original Creamsicles. But you've been there for a while, and you've seen so much. Nothing quite like this, though, where you got to win this one and then wait. How do you kind of describe the spot that you find yourselves now after you handled your end of it, and now you just got to let go of the wheel and see where fate takes you guys?
Yeah, man, it's going to be difficult, especially difficult. Going to be having to root for the Saints tomorrow. That's going to be a tough task to do. But, hey, hopefully they get the job done. You know what I'm saying? But our whole thing is, we just took care of what we had to take care of. And today, that's what we did. Like you said, man, a sloppy football game, rain, muddy, but we was able to get the job done, and I'm very proud of this team.
You all have lived in this weird space from the outside looking in where so many games have been so close and right there to potentially be won, and one thing or another hasn't gone well. The beginning of the year, so many of those went your way. How do you all kind of stay in the fight and dig in to get this win when so many close ones were slipping away and it seemed like the season potentially might be lost?
Yeah, man, like you said, at the beginning of the season, we was winning those one-score games, and then at some point in the middle of the season, later on, we kind of, the game started going a different direction. But we was back in that situation today. We was able to execute. We was able to stay calm and execute. And like I said, man, the resiliency of this football team is what I'm definitely proud of. All the guys fight until the very end, to the last second on the clock, and we was able to do that today. And it helped us, get in a position to be able to make the playoffs. And like you said, man, we're just going to see what goes on tomorrow. But this team, this organization, man, it's a fighting mentality, a dog-eat-dog mentality, and that's what I love.
We'll be watching along with you on Sunday to see what happens in that game between Atlanta and New Orleans. I appreciate you taking the time. Good luck, and Happy New Year, whichever way things go for you, whether there's playoff games or getting ready for next year. I appreciate it.
Yes, no problem. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate you. Happy New Year.
That's our mentality. It's just like we're just going to keep attacking day by day, one thing at a time, and worry about that. Let everybody else come up with all the stories and stuff. Try to give you some good info, but we're not really worried about all that stuff.
It's huge to be able to play in front of the 12s. It's unlike any other stadium that I've ever played in terms of how loud it can be and how tough it can be for another offense to operate. So, we're really looking forward to playing at home for the playoffs.
We lost at home to a division rival for the division and the 1 seed. That sucks. That just is what it is. And yes, I'm disappointed about it. It's horrible. Good news is I get to play football next week.
Oh, we're ready for it. I mean, yeah, it would have been nice to have to have a home game here, or both home games, and get a bye. But it is what it is. I mean, this team's been through a lot this year. Now we got to do it the hard way, and we'll embrace it out doing it the hard way and look forward to it.
All right, Ryan Clark joins us here on SportsCenter now. A gritty win, to say the least, RC, for Seattle. Seahawks didn't put up a lot of points, but you like some of the things on the offensive side of the ball. What stood out to you?
What I liked about the offensive side of the ball was the run game. You look at the last 2 games of the season, both Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker III had 100-yard games. And in this game's early on, you saw Kenneth Walker III with big runs. He had a big 3rd and 15 run in the second half, and it was Zach Charbonnet that got explosive runs, one of those being a touchdown off of the left side of the offensive line. If you want to protect Sam Darnold, if you want this offense to be efficient, Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator, has to run the football, and we've seen that in the last 3 weeks, Eves.
Yeah, balance is what you want from a number 1 seed, and they definitely showed it in that game. As for that Niners offense, they couldn't get anything going. I mean, granted, you got a really good defense there in Seattle as well, but what do you think was behind their struggles, though?
Well, I think the first thing was Mike Macdonald's defense, right? Their ability to put pressure on Brock Purdy, the way that they tackled in the open field, and some of the disguises on the back end, but that sticky coverage. And we haven't seen this from the San Francisco 49ers since Brock Purdy has returned from injury. They were so efficient, so fast. They were making great decisions. And then we were allowed to see Brock Purdy's legs make plays as well. They were on Christian McCaffrey early. They could never get ahead on the sticks, and that's when that front 4 got to pressuring Brock Purdy, and he just couldn't make any plays.
How about this for Seattle? They are now 15-2 on the road since Mike Macdonald came to Seattle. That is incredible effort on the road. All right, RC, hang tight, because there was another game Saturday that could have determined a division crown.
I'm so glad you said could have, because what's going on in the NFC South is absolutely bonkers. Carolina can win or get a Falcons win to get in. Tampa needs to win and then needs a Falcons loss. It's a mess overall. So we go to the game itself that went down on Saturday. Bryce Young on the road in Tampa, and Baker's whipping it to start. 1st and 10 for the Panthers. 18 finds Cade Otton for a touchdown. Bucs up 7-0. To the second quarter, rain starts to come down a little bit harder. It's a 10-0 game. 3rd and 7 from their own 23, and Mayfield is going to send it to the other team. Christian Roseboom takes it back into the red zone for Carolina. Panthers with phenomenal field position, and a couple plays later, they would cash in. Young finds Tommy Tremble, who walks in for the score. It's a 10-7 game. Under 2 minutes to play in the first half now. Panthers 3rd and 6. Young looking to the sideline, but gets picked up by Jacob Harris. A tough turnover, and now Mayfield is going to try to work some magic. 32 seconds left to play. It's a scramble drill. Can he make something shake? Step up. Dangerously close to the line of scrimmage and lets it fly to Cade Otton, who rumbles down into field goal range. 9.3 seconds was the final time Bucs get a field goal and lead by 6 at the break. We move to the third. Panthers still trailing 13-7. 3rd and 2 for Young. Young up top to Teteroa McMillan for a 32-yard gain, but it's coming back. Apparently, that right there, the overhand extension is OPI worthy. There was quite the discussion in the booth, but this call stands. We move to the fourth. Early in it, 1st and 10. Rico Dowdle trying to pull off the flea flicker. Gets it back to Young, but Young cannot recover it. An untimely turnover once again in favor of the Bucs. Now, under 5.5 to play on the field goal attempt, Chase McLaughlin's kick gets blocked by Cam Jackson. Todd Bowles, not a fan, obviously so. The Panthers have life, and with under 3.5 to play, Young, under duress, heaves it, and Tech McMillan is going to reel this one in for a gain of 40. Now the Panthers are working in the red zone. 2 plays later, it's 2nd and goal, and Young from the gun stepping up and finding Jalen Coker, who reels it in for the cut touchdown. An unbelievable contested catch to bring Carolina within 2. Now under 2.5 to play. Bucs need a first down to ice this bad boy. Mayfield would bootleg out and find Otton, who gets the first down. Carolina would have one last chance, but wouldn't do anything with it. Coach Todd Bowles, though, maintaining perspective because it's not in their hands now.
Well, it was disappointing today. It could be jubilation tomorrow. If tomorrow doesn't happen, it'll be disappointing. So, you know, we put ourselves in this situation. We're all grown men about it, and we could have made a ton of plays, but we can't look back and dwell on it. We just got to move forward. And they showed fight tonight, and they showed grit tonight, so we'll just see what happens.
So that was the focus this week, is control today and see where the chips fall. And so we did that. Team win. And, yeah, we'll all be pulling from New Orleans tomorrow. I might try and call the hotel for the Falcons. I don't know where they're staying, but.
Never thought I'd see a day where I'm rooting for the Saints, you know. But I got some guys over there who I know who I can get in contact with to make sure they handle business.
Might not even watch, to be honest with you. I might just see how it ends up. Yeah, you know, it's on us for that being our reality. We had opportunity to take it. Now we have to leave it in someone else's hands, so we take ownership in that.
Back with RC here on SC. Despite the weather, Ryan, Baker Mayfield dialed it in. Came up with a big throw late to seal the deal with that win. What did you see on that play?
Listen, I'm actually upset, Trev. I was in the green room and I said, pass, 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 because I knew that they'd be aggressive offensively. But you could see the entire flow of the Carolina Panthers defense was to stop the run. And Trevor Moehrig overruns Cade Otton as he gets into the flat. It was just a lack of communication, a lack of situational awareness, and there wasn't an attention to detail before the snap of the football. That sort of communication is supposed to permeate throughout the entire huddle on the entire sideline, and we did not see that from the Carolina Panthers.
We heard Louis Riddick saying in game that scheme was ripping them to death, and for some reason they just never caught on, especially in that pivotal moment. But as for the Panthers, Bryce Young came close to putting together his 7th game-winning drive of the season. What happened, though?
Well, listen, I will say this about Bryce Young. This is a game when I look at him and I say to myself, you know what? You played at the level you need to be considered as the future franchise of the Carolina Panthers. Late in this game, we did see him make plays. The big pass to Teteroa McMillan, but it was the interception to Jacob Parrish before the half that produced 3 points. There was also the called flea flicker when you're in the high red zone, a pitch back to Bryce Young, and he doesn't recover the football or get on top of it to just give his team another opportunity to score. If you're Dave Canales, you're going to want that play back, because when you watch the way that your young quarterback finished this game, he was good enough to keep you in it and maybe even win it without all of the trickery.
Yeah, man, and despite all of that mess, Panthers still got a little bit of hope. Need the Falcons to win over the Saints and to get in, but the Bucs will be rooting for New Orleans.
That would be the most NFC South thing that's ever happened. That the Carolina Panthers back into the playoffs, because the two teams in the NFC South that are playing better than the two higher ranked teams in the NFC South will actually decide who goes to the playoffs.
Shenanigans for the NFC South. It's just standard.
Joe Musso pleased to be alongside my guy, CBS lead NFL insider Jonathan Jones, and the two-time Super Bowl champ Bryant McFadden. Fellas, this was the game plan that you put out in front of Seattle as their winning formula. You control the clock, you run the football, and you continue to operate at the elite level of defense that you have to this point. I do want to start on the defensive side of the ball here, Mac. How are they so effective in limiting what has been the most potent offensive attack for the last month in the NFL?
They were the more physical group from start to finish. I mean, it felt like Seattle defensively, guys, they were playing at a different speed than San Francisco offense was. And it started with the guys that put their hand in the dirt. The front seven was outstanding for Seattle. I talked about getting pressure on Brock Purdy. I talked about sacking Brock Purdy. Well, they did both things for the entirety of the ball game. 3 sacks on Brock Purdy, and when they were not sacking Brock Purdy, they never allowed him to get comfortable. When you look at Brock Purdy's night, I mean, it was below average, to say the least. I mean, he had 127 yards through the air, but the most glaring stat associated with Brock Purdy, he averaged 4.7 yards per pass. That's below the mark based on what he's done in weeks past, and that tells you how outstanding Seattle was in not allowing Brock Purdy to go through his progressions to be able to be a more aggressor of the thrower and throwing the football down the field. So they had a great game plan in play for San Francisco offensively, and they made sure they did not allow the big three from their offense to get off: Brock Purdy, CMC, and George Kittle.
They bottled up CMC, right? I mean, he only had less than 60 scrimmage yards in this game. They made him the focal point.
Yeah.
Because when you look at this was a one-possession game up until midway through the fourth quarter, more or less, or at the start of the fourth quarter. And what you have with the San Francisco 49ers, 12 rushes total. Chris McCaffrey, his longest run of the night, 5 yards. And so you're talking about one of the best defenses in the NFL with the Seattle Seahawks performing as one of the best defenses in the NFL in a playoff-like game, right? It's not win or go home. It's win and get next week off and have everyone come to your place and not get on a flight again until you come back to that stadium in February. So this was a fantastic performance by a defense that I know we talk a lot about the Houston Texans. We have talked a lot about the Denver Broncos. But what this defense did tonight is what they have been doing, and we're all waiting on the clock to strike midnight and us not believing we're going to get to Sam Darnold and us not believing in the Seattle Seahawks because it's not the Legion of Boom and we don't have some nickname for this defense. I'm telling you what, they are arguably one of the best defenses in the NFL.
They certainly are, and they look that way tonight. Mac, you said playing at a different speed. This was a different offensive output than we've seen from San Francisco, not just this year, but under Kyle Shanahan. It ties their lowest point total on a Kyle Shanahan-led San Francisco team during his tenure there. It's also the first game this season without an offensive touchdown. Seattle's defense has allowed 10 points or fewer in 3 straight road games, but as you said, Jonathan Jones, ain't no road games from here on out as they secure the 1 seed and become champions of the NFC West. Let's talk about that run game and the offensive performance. Sam Darnold, 20 of 26 for $198. was super effective when called upon in the pass game, but this was a run-first game script for Seattle.
1,000%. And it was a run-first game script for Seattle because, first of all, they probably are a run-first team. Now, they have an Offensive Player of the Year candidate in Jackson Smith-Njigba, and so you want to throw him the football, and they do that more than they throw to anyone else. But what was the game plan going into this game? It was about controlling the clock. It was about limiting the possessions for that firepower offense that you have with San Francisco. They only had 8 possessions. You hope that your defense can stop them on third down. That's what they did. And so what do you need to do if you are the Seattle Seahawks offense? You run the football, you play the clock, you convert on third down. Tonight, against the Niners defense, they went 6 of 13 on third down. They had 3 conversions on 3rd and 9+. 2 they got, honestly, 1 they got on a defensive pass interference. That was a true DPI, but nonetheless, they were able to always extend their drives, and that meant keeping Brock Purdy off of the field. That meant keeping, more importantly, Christian McCaffrey off the field. And Sam Darnold made no mistakes. Sam Darnold played a mistake-free ball game where he did not have to throw for 400 yards. He didn't have to put up MVP-like numbers. This was all about just winning this football game and kicking your feet up next week, watching the games, and then tuning in to watch CBS Sports HQ to break it down. And that is exactly what they got out of Mr. Darnold.
And the most impressive thing that I watched with Seattle was their ability to stay patient with the running game and not try to get cute. Well, they got cute during the first offensive drive. 1st and 10 inside the 4, you decided a play action pass. But outside of that, they stayed within the game plan. And because San Francisco could not stop the run, they were like, we're going to keep running the football. 39 rushing attempts. Kenneth Walker jump-started the efforts. He averaged around 6 yards per carry. Zach Charbonnet came in. Those 2 guys coexist nicely in the backfield. And because of that, San Francisco allowed a season high on the ground, 180 yards total from Seattle. That was a great game plan. And I can tell you this much, guys. They were able to run the football the way they did without their best offensive lineman in Charles Cross. What happens whenever they're all having all hands on deck mentality? And to your point, JJ, because of this win tonight, everything in the playoffs got to go through the 12. You know how difficult it is to play there. So if this running game can stay the course like they did tonight, that sense of balance for their offense, it makes Sam Darnold even that much better because he doesn't have to be an aggressor at the quarterback position. Just make the routine plays happen routinely like he did tonight. Allow the running game to do what they've been called to do, and the defense will finish the rest.
Looked far more comfortable in this moment than he did a year ago in an almost exact moment. And it does feel like meat was even left on the bone. A couple of missed kicks, and B-Mac, you allude to that first drive where it's 3 or 7. So you're talking about 9 points, maybe 13 points that this Seattle offense left on the table. So even room to even tune this thing up further. It is a franchise record 14th win here for the Seattle Seahawks, and Sam Darnold becomes the 5th quarterback all time with multiple 14-win seasons. It is rarefied company. Mahomes, Brady, Manning, Montana, and now Darnold. We'll see if he can get to the mountaintop the way that those before have, but there are questions on the San Francisco side moving forward as well. It is now either a 5 seed or a 6 seed depending on LA's outcome on Sunday. JJ, I want to go back to the physical toll that this sort of football game took on San Francisco when you project them to the wild card round.
Yeah, because the NFC teams will not be playing on Monday night. The extra day is going to go to the AFC North team. So they're going to be in the 4-5 matchup on Monday. And so you anticipate that the Niners could actually turn around if they get the 5 seed. Well, if they get the 5 or the 6. They could wind up playing next Saturday. That is well within the realm of possibility. So, yeah, it was a tough one, and hopefully they're going to be able to have Trent Williams back. Again, you get a guy that big at his age and he gets a hamstring, that's going to be impossible to come back from in 1 week. We'll see next week, right? You hope that Ricky Pearsall, who is limited this week, is going to be able to show up and be available that upcoming week because, you know, Kendrick Bourne, he had that incentive package, and he hit it a couple weeks ago, had another incentive. He got 1 target tonight. They bottled up Christian McCaffrey. Now, you can have a game plan, but you need dudes. You need personnel to bottle up Christian McCaffrey. And so there's not a blueprint that the Seattle Seahawks put out there for everyone. Everyone needs Seattle Seahawks players and the guys who are calling the plays. But as far as the 49ers, I'm not overly concerned about them because they lost this game. I thought they were going to lose this game. I didn't think that Sam Darnold was going to play a terrible game. And so the Niners, with all the attrition they've had, got beaten by the better, healthier team.
5 seed will get you the winner of the South, that being Carolina or Tampa Bay. A 6 seed will present you with either a trip to Chicago or Philadelphia. Far different than putting your feet up with a 1 seed and having it run through Santa Clara. And it all came down to the Seattle defense on Saturday night. 14 wins, the new high water mark